Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I will be recapping the dominant win that the Indianapolis Colts had over the Buffalo Bills. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Hit that notification bell so you can see when we create new content. Like this video, dislike this video by commenting in the chats, and let us know what you don't like about it, considering that YouTube, I guess, is kind of gotten rid of that whole little thing, if you probably already know by now. So comment on the video if you dislike it and let us know your thoughts on the outcome of the game. And Ryan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So we even talked about...
I just want to say congratulations to you in fantasy. You have Jonathan Taylor on your team, and
I do.
Holy cow.
Did
he have a day. This might be one of the single best fantasy performances I've ever seen.
Well, and you know what? We'll just kind of go straight into it. This is what we talked about in our preview is we didn't really know with the small sample size of legit running teams that the Bills have gone up against, they haven't really performed very well because the Bills have had a very easy schedule. The Colts, every week seems like it is a dogfight for them, and they've been battle tested coming into this game, and it showed. Mm-hmm. It showed, and we'll get into what the Bills' struggles were here. But if we're looking at this, Carson Wentz he threw the ball 20 times, but he didn't have to. I think he only had 106 passing yards. The team had 264 rushing yards total, and this to me shows really is the essence of why the Colts are going on the run that they are now. Is with Quentin Nelson back and healthy at left guard, Jeff Fisher now at left tackle, and then the rest of that offensive line. Carson Wentz was not sacked. Oh, sorry, Eric Fisher was not sacked at all. There was only 2 QB hits allowed on the game. They helped have 264 total rushing yards as a team. Jonathan Taylor had 32 carries for 184 yards, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. It's not like he had a big run and that spiked up his stats. This is all because that offensive line and the protection that they are giving Carson Wentz, and also the running lanes essentially that Jonathan Taylor is getting. They won the battle into the trenches, and on top of that, they capitalized on every single Buffalo mistake as well. This is not a team that I want to play at any point now during the rest of the season if I see them on my schedule. This defense is legit. This offense is legit, especially this running game. They're going to be fun to watch, and they are going to be a tough team to beat for anyone coming down the stretch because they are clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, no. I mean, just watching this game, I know we got a few comments on our preview for this game, but the Colts just controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. Even on when the Bills were on offense, it just seemed like they really struggled to get anything going. And if they did get anything going, then they would make a mistake. Josh Allen had a turnover in the first half. I think it was in the first quarter. But the Colts never let them get going. The Colts just stuck to the run game and just slowly just piled up points and yards and just consistently won the line of scrimmage. It was as dominating of a performance as we've seen this season, I think.
Well, I will say I don't want to put all of the fault on Josh Allen because this was a group effort. Trivia question. How many times do you think the Bills punted today?
4.
One time. These are all their drives. All right, and how they ended. Interception. Second drive was a touchdown. Third drive, technically wasn't really a drive, but a muff punt. Then ended the half with a missed field goal. It was 57 yards, so it's not a huge fault. Started second half, a 3-and-out punt. Then next drive, missed field goal, 49 yards. Interception, then touchdown, 2-point conversion. But at this point in the game, I think they were down 38-15, 31-15, something like that. Interception, third one of the day. This one was done by Mitch Trubisky. And then their final drive was turnover on downs, but the game had already been over. If you look at that, just constant mistakes, constant errors that the Bills need to clean up. And they have started to we've started to see a trend of this with the Bills. We saw this is the reason why they lost Jacksonville. The Jacksonville game was
Mhm.
just turnovers and mistakes, not taking care of the ball. But of course, they
Yeah.
didn't win that game, but they had an opportunity to win that game only because Jacksonville is nowhere near the caliber of team against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
But when faced up against some real competition, they were just careless. They were
Yeah.
the clear weakened second team, and now this loss has put them on the verge of potentially not even making the playoffs if the playoffs started today. I think they are right now the seventh seed in the playoffs.
Yeah. Because they're 6-4.
Yep, 6-4.
So
Yep,
yeah, and the Colts are 5-5, and the Bills have a
six and
tough
five.
schedule coming up. We'll get a little bit more into the um, playoff implications of this
Yeah,
in a second.
yeah.
But overall, did you feel like the Bills looked like a playoff team today? Like,
No,
do you
well,
think that do you think that they even looked like, even in their best moments? Do you even think that they looked like they could make the playoffs?
no. I mean, they only had, and testament, I think, to the Colts on this how good their
Mhm.
defense was. But I think they just had just over 300 yards of total offense. Josh Allen only threw for 209 yards, two touchdowns, two picks. Um, this has been one of the issues with the Bills that we talked about even at the beginning of the season is they are kind of one dimensional. They have a running back by
Yeah.
committee, but it's never really going to be anything too threatening, so to say. So when they have these off games and when they're super careless with the ball, they
Mhm.
they struggle because then they become so one dimensional. You know what they're doing; they become easy to prepare
Yeah.
against. Um, the Bills need to really tighten things up, and we've starting to kind of see this trend. And I think a
Well,
lot of it is because at this point in the season, they've only had one battle tested game. If you talk about the Titans, yeah, they played Kansas City, but that was when Kansas City was still trying to figure things out. They played Kansas City
yeah.
now. Kansas City has really turned things around. I think that they're playing much better
Mhm.
football than what they were in week four.
Yeah.
So, or
Yeah.
week five,
My
whenever they played.
my So my thing is, I think they've done a better job of establishing a presence on the defensive side of the ball. But watching that game today, I just don't think that the Bills' offensive line is establishing enough of a presence. That's why they lost to Jacksonville. That's
Hmm.
ultimately why they lost to Tennessee, even though Josh Allen did technically slip in the mud.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they lost again today.
Hmm.
I just don't think that they were able to establish a run game in the beginning, and then when they were trying to pass the ball, they couldn't keep the pocket clean for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I get Josh Allen is one of the best in the league at improvising, but you can't have a guy go out and improvise every play. We saw that in the Super Bowl, and it just doesn't work, even when it's Patrick Mahomes.
Well, just go look
So
at Seattle for an example of that.
yeah,
Russell Wilson can't go improvise every single play. Eventually, it's just going to be a nightmare for this team,
yeah,
and starting to see that way into um, what's going on with the Bills.
yeah,
And I don't want to try and over exaggerate. All teams have bad games. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This one though was interesting though because if you look at it on paper, stats wise, the Bills were supposed to match up well against the Colts. Second best rushing
yeah,
defense, but we kind of talked about that, how they hadn't really played anybody. The Colts were starting to figure it out a little bit and had a couple good weeks in a row of some dominant running performance. But this, I think it was just the style of victory and the carelessness of the Buffalo Bills. Because as you
yeah,
said, like they only punted the ball once, but they had one, two, three, four turnovers, and then if we're looking at the missed field goals, if we're including that as well, that'd be six times they had a possession,
yeah,
didn't get any points on the board, and gave the ball back to the
yeah,
Colts in good field position. But I
yeah,
kind of want to
exactly.
move on quickly here to end and where this puts both teams in the playoff scenario. Because what's really interesting about this, and this shows the depth of the AFC, is the Colts are still not in the playoffs at 6-5.
Yeah, they're what, 8, 10?
Uh,
No, they're 10.
no, they're ninth right now. They should. We're recording this right now during Sunday Night Football. The Chargers. I'm expecting the Chargers to win this game, and they actually
Mhm.
just went up 7-3. If you want to know when we're recording, so I expect the Chargers to go up, the Steelers to fall down. I think they still might end up being ninth. But if you look at the schedule that the Colts have moving forward, with their and the way they're moving the ball right now, um, they're They're playing the Buccaneers next week. That's going to be a crucial game. But, I mean, with the way they're running the ball, I think that they're going to be able to run the ball well against that Buccaneers defense, even though I know they're I think one of the best run defenses in the league.
Yeah,
They'll be able to throw the ball as well.
the Bucs' run defense has not been as stout in the second half of the season. They gave up a lot of yards to Khalil Herbert in the Bears game.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a really good
That is
start to
true.
the season, but the Bucs right now are a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and that's another thing too. But that being said, though, I think they can get up to 10 wins with the 6 games that they have left, and I think that should put them in the playoff spot. What's interesting though about the Bills is now I still think the Bills will make the playoffs, only because they play the entire NFC South left. They will win at least 3 of those games. There's no reason why they might lose to the Buccaneers, but even then, though, they still have 2 games against the Patriots, and that's going to be up for the
yeah,
division. With the Patriots now taking the lead in the division, something I don't think any of us saw coming forward. So that's why this was so crucial. And the Bills need to turn it around, or that at best they're going to split games with the Patriots, in my opinion, because the Patriots have been moving at all cylinders. They have figured out their style of game plan,
yeah,
their style of play, and have been playing really well. While the Bills
yeah,
have been faltering over the past couple of weeks.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think this week showed it. New England has been extremely dominant with a pass rush,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been extremely dominant running the football.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two of the major things that the Bills have struggled with in recent weeks. And so,
When they play competent teams, yes, that has been an
yeah,
issue. This
yeah,
to a whole new level, though. Give them 264 rushing yards in a game. I
yeah.
think they only gave up
And
140 or so against Tennessee.
and even though it might not say it statistically, I really do think the Colts are probably one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. When that offensive line is healthy with Jonathan Taylor running the football,
Yeah,
it's that's really hard to stop.
yeah,
But averaging almost 6 yards a carry and giving up 4 rushing touchdowns to one player, well, giving that up in a game, in honestly, is just
hmm
a little absurd.
yeah, hmm yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think Buffalo definitely has the tougher route. Now the big thing for me is, so let's say Buffalo next week, they play the Saints. That's another good defense. Not nearly as good of an offense, but Alvin
yeah,
Kamara will be back.
yeah. But I mean, as I said, that should be a win for the
Mhm.
Saints. Sorry, the Bills. The Saints they're not the same
Yeah,
team. Not that Jameis Winston was the savior, but it's just that team's just not the same
yeah,
offensively. And I think that the Bills should be able to take care of business. Now we'll be in New Orleans. We'll be Thanksgiving night, so
yeah,
crazier things have happened. Um,
yeah. But then right after that, they play the Buccaneers, Panthers, or sorry, they play the Patriots, Buccaneers, Panthers, Patriots.
mhm.
That's a really tough 4-game stretch. Um, I mean, probably one of the toughest. All 4 of those teams are competing for playoff spots.
Yeah.
So
hmm
so yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough road for the Bills. I still think that they have one of the easier schedules coming in, all things considered. But if they play like they did today, like it's going to be very interesting because the AFC is very tight
mhm,
when it comes to that wild card spot.
yeah. But all in all, I don't really have too much else to add. I think both teams uh, are going to still compete for a wild card spot. I just think the Colts might have given
hmm
themselves a leg up on what could be a very talented Buffalo team.
Yeah.
So,
hmm
but yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so we can send you a message every time we post a video. And leave a comment down below on what you thought of this football game, and we will give a shout out to the best comment next week. And we will see you guys next time.